Do we have? We don't have a cart, do we?
No.
We'll have to get a cart or something.
Yeah.
Making terrain for your tabletop RPGs can be pretty intimidating. 3D printers are pretty expensive and often take a little bit of tinkering to get them to work right. Building terrain from scratch can cost a lot in materials and requires great skill, right? Well, not all of those things are true. I strongly believe that anyone can make terrain. It's actually a lot easier than you think. I built my first piece of terrain from scratch not too long ago, and I was shocked with how great the result turned out to be. It also doesn't have to take as much time as you think it would. You can spend as much time as you want. So for our Ironsworn show, we needed a cart, basically like the intro from Skyrim. Now at this point in my crafting career, I had not built a lot. I had done a couple of things before this, so I had a little bit of experience, but not a lot. As far as materials go, there's really not a lot of money that you have to spend, okay? The main thing that you're gonna wanna get is something called Ready Board. It's a type of foam core, but you get it at the Dollar Tree. It costs $1 and you need to get specifically Ready Board because that lets you peel the paper away extremely easily so you can get to the foam underneath, which can be textured easily with a pencil. You're gonna also need a couple of other things, some kind of straight edge, ideally like a metal ruler. You're gonna need a knife. I like to use the Alpha knife, but you can also just use an X-Acto blade. Just make sure that you have a brand new blade and it's really sharp. You're gonna need a hot glue gun, some tin foil, and some pencils. Now I can guarantee most of this stuff you probably already have. For me, I already had a hot glue gun and tin foil and pencils, and I already had the knife and the straight edge. So all I needed to buy was the board, and it is $1. So, I mean, I just picked up a few boards for like $5. I got like 4 boards. Really, the only barrier to having some cool terrain for yourself is just finding the time to make it. And even that's not a huge deal because it really doesn't take that long. This wagon was a super simple project. I built it in a day. It was a ton of fun. I just like putting on a little video or movie or something to watch while I craft away. It's simple, it's easy. Just figure out the rough dimensions of what you want, cut it out in the foam. You can easily add textures with a pencil. For this, I did some kind of fun wood grain effects. And then you just hot glue it into place. I also used a couple of coffee stir sticks just to add a little bit of support to the more flimsy areas. And then one thing I was actually really happy with is I took a bunch of spare coins, which I know that's gonna up the cost of the build, but I thought it was worth it. So I took some coins and I just hot glued them underneath and threw a plate of wood on top. And that gave it a lot more weight, which a lot of these foam stuff, a lot of times they're a little, they can just get thrown around on the table easily, but adding some coins into it gave it a little bit of heft that I really liked. So I'll probably be doing that on some other builds as well. As for painting, this was a super simple paint job because it's all just wood, so I just dry brush some brown on, exactly like I did with my tree int video. It's the same paint job, and I was pretty much done after that. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I think it looks pretty darn good. It looks great in my opinion. It's way easier to do this than 3D printing something. So even if you do have a 3D printer, I think this is still a good option for you because you can get some really great results with this. You know, maybe the proportions are completely out of whack for this wagon, but it works really well in play. There's a lot of room inside the wagon that the models can move on. And then I also just took a couple of some like toy horses from, I think it was Michael's, and I just glued them onto some bases and painted a couple little details on them. They looked great, easy way to get horses. Because I didn't want to 3D print a bunch of horses and paint them, because nobody really wants to paint a horse. It's not all that fun. And I tell you what was fun, this project. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and it was a blast. Making terrain is fun, and I highly recommend it. There is no barrier to crafting from scratch. It doesn't matter who you are or what your skill level is, you can make something cool. I recommend just starting with something simple. I think this wagon is a great beginner project, and then just find a weekend, sit down, and put on something on your TV and craft away. You can see this wagon in use as we are being transported Skyrim style in our Ironsworn show. Thanks for watching.